What's up guys, Syiler here, and we are back, and as you may or may not know, and if you don't know, you're doing it wrong, BlizzCon was last night, the first night of BlizzCon happened last night, and a lot of really interesting stuff was put out. So the new expansion is Warlords of Draenor. If you didn't hear that, I don't know what you're doing, but that will be the new expansion. It's basically set in the past when Draenor wasn't Outland, when it was still a whole place, and we're basically going to be going back in time. Garrosh is the bad guy again, but not the main bad guy. He's just a bit of the bad guy. So yeah. Now, one of the things that they mentioned, which I thought deserved a video in itself, was the new raid structure. So basically, there's going to be new raid difficulties, and these change things quite drastically. So if you look to the left and the right, it shows 5.4 and 6.0, which will be the new expansion. So 5.0, we've got Raid Finder, we've got Flex, we've got Normal 25 and 10, and then we've got Heroic 10 and Heroic 25. So how that'll change in the new expansion? Well, Raid Finder will be Raid Finder 10 and 25, meaning you'll queue, and when you initially get in, it'll be roughly 25 people. But say, for example, you're about to pull a boss, and some guy's like, "This group's for noobs," and just leaves. Then what'll happen is the raid will scale down to 24 people, or 20 people, or 18 people, depending on how many left. The raid will compensate for that and allow you to carry on pulling instead of waiting for people. So if you're queuing really late at night or whatever, and some people leave, then it's like, crap, we ain't gonna find replacements at this time. Now you don't need to. So that's cool, I'm down with that. Loot's gonna still be the same sort of item level compared to everything else, it's still gonna be the lowest. So what else have we got? We've got Normal is now essentially Flex, so Normal will be the same sort of eye level as Flex is, and Normal mode will be Flex, so you can have 25 people, say 2 people don't show up, you can go with 23 people. You've got 12 people online tonight, you can go with 12 people, whatever you want. As long as it's between 10 and 25 people, you can raid Normal mode. So Heroic modes. Heroic modes are now equivalent to Normal mode, so they're going to be between 10 and 25, they're going to flex again, so if you've got 22 people, you've got 18 people, you can still raid with 18 people. And then they add in this new difficulty, Mythic. So Mythic is a 20-man raid. Just straight up, there's no 19, there's no 26, there's no 10, 20, that is it. And that is the new Heroic, that is the hardest difficulty in the game, so if you want to be the top raiding guild or whatever, or you want to experience the harder content, you need to do Mythic raiding. So what that's going to mean is 10-man guilds at the moment will no longer exist. 10-man guilds will need to recruit 10 more people to raid Mythic. 25-man guilds won't be too much of a problem for them. If you have sort of a roster of about 30 people, they'll just kind of stop recruiting, and people always fall off when new expansions hit, so they'll be okay-ish. For the hardcore raiding guilds, they have about 40 raiders. So they're going to have to make cuts if all the people stick around. Or be swapping people out too frequently. Or even, I guess, create 2 20-man raids, but then they've got no reserves. So it's kind of a bit of a scumbag change. I mean, I like it, but I don't like it suddenly being implemented. I like the idea of, yep, straight up 20-man, this is the hardest difficulty. There's no more comparing 10 and 25-man, there's one difficulty. There's no more saying, oh, well, 25-man's for noobs, 10-man's much more difficult. Nope, there is only one difficulty. If you do this, you are doing the most difficult thing in the game. But it kind of sucks that they're just going to throw it out there. Now, this could still change, and it probably will, I'd imagine, because most of the game right now is raiding 10-man, so they're forcing 10-man guilds to recruit, or to merge, which never really ends well. So we'll see what happens, but if this does stay in, then it's kind of a big drastic change. It's going to cause some guilds to disband, and they're going to merge with others. It's going to cause some guilds to have to kick players if they've got way too many. Or they'll just have to bench them, which is unfortunate for them. It's going to cause guilds to have to merge together to over-recruit. You know, it's a lot for a guild to take on. And most 10-man guilds, I know are sort of a bunch of friends that are just sort of a core, sort of 10 friends that have raided for a long time. Now they're going to have to go outside of that 10 bubble and recruit 10 more. Either that or they can't experience the hardest content and they have to do just sort of the heroic content, which is essentially normal. So yeah, I feel it's a bit too drastic. I like the fact that normal and heroic are now flex, but they said they didn't want Mythic to be flex, because the reasoning behind that is they don't want the optimal setup to be like 17 people for this boss and 21 people for that boss and 13 for this boss. They just want each boss to be the hardest with 20 people, which makes sense coming from sort of a developer's point of view, but they've not really looked at the overall guilds, like they've not looked at the overall effect that this will have on guilds. So I could imagine quite a lot of people being upset with this change. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you feel it's a good change or bad change. I definitely like the first three. I have no problems with the first three being like flexy type raids. The Mythic though, I do like it, and it won't really affect me because I only raid 25 men anyway, so we won't really feel the effects. But for the 10-man guilds, I can feel for you if you guys now need to recruit more or whatever. It is kind of an awkward situation for you. So let me know what you think of it, if you do like the concept but don't like the way it's going to be implemented or anything along those lines. And look out for more BlizzCon content coming soon. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya!